Sony a7 III, the camera I use for my professional work, and for everyday usage I usually try to use my Fuji because of the form factor and easy to carry. But I will explain why I like this camera, and I will not dive into the deep details about the technical specs because it's so many reviews about that part, and the camera is already old enough. Then probably if you wanted to know anything about the technical details, probably you already know it. But let's get to details. That's why I like this camera and why I'm not switching to a7 IV or a7R series or anything with higher megapixels. And first of all, you don't really need that high resolution in the professional world. I would say 24 is like limit that I need, as long as I said it's not studio work. If I'm in studio, I rent different cameras. Sometimes it's DSLR Canon, sometimes it's medium format Fuji, it just depends. But and I don't really like Sony in the studio because I really like to use DSLRs in the studio. It just works better. It's more convenient to see everything and don't be based on pilots on the lights. But for the outdoor work, it's just incredible camera. The autofocus is very fast and it's very convenient to carry on. The truth is, I shot with this camera already many campaigns, and I never had problem with the autofocus. Of course, there are people who are complaining, but then I will not review this camera from the perspective of person who just reviews the camera. I use it for everyday work. I use it as the pro tool. It had some scratches on it. It just got beaten many times, but well, it works. Only issue right now, lately, that I have, I'm not sure if you can see, but this, yeah, now it's opened. But time to time, the camera slot doesn't open. That's my biggest factor right now, what is not working after 5 years of heavy usage. Countless of frames captured and stuff like that. Second of all, you can already get into film with this camera. I mean, of course it doesn't have this 10-bit log and stuff like that, but if you're beginner, it doesn't matter. Like, or even if you're not beginner, this tool is already good enough to produce really nice quality content. And first commercial films I did, it was on this camera. Now for the more advanced work, I use 10 bits cameras, but for anything like for everyday life, or if I want to use it for travel filming and I don't want to take heavier gear, I just take the Sony a7 and it works. I mean, I don't need that high depth for everyday stuff. A lot of people complain about the color science in Sony. I don't see really the problem why people do that, but I think it's just like peaking and like this. Some people don't like it and some people like it, that's it. And for me, the colors in color science in Sony, I'm not talking about film, but the like pictures works, and I can't really complain about it. Like big brands publish the pictures that were taken on this camera, and I never had problem with it. Then I wouldn't be bothered. Like if someone tells you that Sony has bad color science, it's just like just nitpicking. That's it. For under $1,000, you get full frame camera that produce incredible pictures. If you get nice lenses with it, you can get adapter, for example, and get old cheap Canon lenses or Nikon lenses. Then you really can get full set for around $1,000. My genre is outdoor photography, and maybe there are people who will complain about frame rates or like how many frames per second you can shoot, but let's be honest, I never had problem with it. Like, I shoot sports, and of course time to time you get one frame out of focus, but apart of that you still can pick right picture, then it really doesn't matter. Like, you don't need 24 or 50 frames per second as long you shoot, I don't know, sprints or I don't know, Formula One pictures, then probably you might need a higher frame rate. But for most of work I do, or for most everyday Joe style, you don't need it. Like, it's great camera, but like there is only one drawback in this camera that I would say I don't, the reason that's why I don't like this camera in the studio, it's because it's mirrorless. It's so much easier to work with like studio lights inside the studio on DSLRs. It's just like more convenient. It works, like, it's easier to capture, it's easy, you see everything as you should. Maybe there are options that I don't know in this camera. It's just like, I was shooting last week with Sony for in the studio, and it just didn't work for me. I don't feel like this form factor is for me. But apart of that, I really recommend you to get this camera. You can, I mean, it's still small compared to old, bulky, larger DSLRs. Than if you have a DSLR and you want to swap for mirrorless, I think it's a good decision. If you have, let's say, Fuji or like APS-C camera and you want to go for full frame, then as well I recommend it. But I mean, if you have APS-C most likely and you don't work as pro, I don't think you need the full frame. But if you do, then it's good investment instead of buying much more expensive cameras. I hope you liked the review, and let me know what you think about Sony a7 III in 2023 or even 2024, because yeah, it's 1 month to go and then we are in 24. Then let me know. And are you user of Sony, or are you using from different brands? Just let me know in the comments below. And yeah, see you next time.